Good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to introduce myself and say a few comments about why we're here. So my name is Sean Brown, and as introduced, I am the founder and director of Young Urban Leaders. And Young Urban Leaders was designed to train a new generation of leaders to address the most critical issues in our community. We have a few campaigns. You can check out our website, www.youngurbanleaders.org. I'm also a school board member here in Camden. I know Barbara Coscarello, a fellow school board member, is here. And there are a group of us that vote and make decisions about this public school system that we have in the city. And my day job, although it's not a job because it doesn't pay, but my day job, I'm a graduate student at University of Delaware getting my master's in public policy. And all this stuff is connected because, like a lot of us, I do my best to do what I can to lift our community. So I want to talk to the adults for a moment, and then I want to talk to the youth for a moment. My wife and baby are late but on their way. But now that I am responsible for paying rent and live in a house, I recognize it's really irritating sometimes living in Camden. Our car insurance is about $380 a month. In the summertime, it was often that we had brown water. There are potholes that have caused me to change a lot of flat tires. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? But we understand that this is a part of living in Camden. And sometimes we can't do that much about it, but we accept it to the most we can. But the one thing that's really hard to accept is when you hear in the newspaper that there's been another murder in Camden. There's been another shooting. I was shot myself June 4th, 2006, and about 15 feet away from me, I saw a young lady die, Rochelle Harmon. And at that time, my government told me, grown-ups, my government told me that they wouldn't take this anymore, that they would take bold steps to assure that this never happened again. But those steps really weren't taken. And we as a community did not do a good job of holding those people accountable for the promises that they made at the time. And that was over 5 years ago. So here we are 5 years later, and I'm talking at another peace march about the same issues, the same problems that we've had in the city for way too long. I can get over the brown water. I can drive slow when I drive over the potholes. But I can't get over the fact that we continue to allow a few people destroy our city, destroy the reputation of our city, have blood spilling in our city. That is something that we can't accept. And every single one of us has the responsibility to come to events like this, but to go to our government and force them to do what we want them to do, which is do whatever they can to help our city be a better city. And that includes a couple simple things. The main thing it includes is making sure that anybody that wants a job can get a job. If you want a job, you should be able to get a job. You don't have to work in Camden, but you should be able to get a job somewhere. But we know that as soon as you put Camden on the application, it's already a few points that's deducted from your scoring in the system because of the reputation of our city. Which means we have to promote. Now I'm talking to you young people. Young people, ladies over there, if you guys could just stand up and come a little bit closer. I want to just know that I just want to know that you're listening. If all the children and their parents, if they want to come up, just come up a little bit closer so I can see your faces. All the children, if you guys could just come up a little bit. Because obviously, we're really here for you. And the people that are murdering, the people that are in gangs, the people that are shooting, they weren't born with guns in their hands. They weren't born violent. Somehow somebody taught them something. Somehow somebody put something in their hands. Somehow somebody didn't love them enough. They didn't hug them enough. They didn't educate them enough. And they end up saying that I'd rather join a gang than be alone. I'd rather be violent than be bored. I'd rather kill than to be peaceful inside. They weren't born that way. Look at these children. Look how cute they are. Look how innocent they are. Even though it's cold, they're out here with us. And I haven't heard any complaining yet.
No, not yet.
They deserve a better future than what we have given them. They deserve a better future than what we've given them. Our school board in Camden has to be better. Our city council and our leaders have to be better. Our state legislators have to be better. Our churches have to be better. It's not just about serving the people in your own church. It's about doing the work like Father Doyle does. And the work that the young man that spoke, what's your name? Rush Jones does in Nazarene, about getting out of your church and getting out to that community. And even if you don't believe in God, I'm going to pray for you anyway. Even if you don't have faith, we're going to join hands anyway, because this violence happens in our city. It impacts all of us. Young people, listen to me. In Gloucester County this year, I just read in the newspaper, they had 2 murders in Gloucester County this year. In the whole county. We've had more murders than that in the last few weeks. And we can't excuse this as, well, these guys were drug dealers and they were in gangs and this is what happens. That's not excusable. Because as a lot of people here know, people get shot and killed that have nothing to do with that goes on. And they're somebody's children too. And if at that time they had a teacher, they had a coach, they had a mentor, they had a parent, they had a neighbor that told them, I love you. And I'll do whatever I can to make sure that you're successful. I'll spend money on you. I'll talk to you. I'll spend some time with you. They wouldn't have been in that position. We have to change our ways. None of us here are violent. None of us here have ever killed anybody. But as all the speakers said before, there are things that we can do. Whenever you see a young person, whenever I see a young person, I say, hey, how are you? Where do you go to school? Now that the first marking period is over, ask them how their grades are. And if they tell you they got anything less than an A or B, you tell them, no, that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. We don't accept failure in our city anymore. We don't accept F's, we don't accept D's, and we don't even accept C's. You have to get all A's and B's because we need you to be good, we need you to be excellent, we need you to be our future. And the last thing I want to say, and the last thing that we need to change, is how we look at education. Too often we look at a high school diploma as being the end of education. If you do anything more than that, then that's fantastic. But there are a few people here, and I'm going to call you out. We have Brian Morton here. Brian, if you come up here with me, Brian. Brian, in the day, he helps prisoners. He helps prisoners get a job, get an education. At night, he helps his community, North Camden, be stronger, and had a whole lot of people on the baseball field doing that work. And his wife, Felicia, is right there, helps him too. We have Elton Custis, who's not going to come up because he's recording me. For the day, he helps people that are addicted to drugs, and then in the evening and on the weekends, he spends his time making sure that his community in Parkside and throughout the city is lifted. We have, I know we have others here too. Oh, Shanika, who's holding the speaker that I'm speaking. She spreads the information and organizes things like this, volunteering her time. Make sure that through the social media, people have an understanding of everything that's going on. We have young people that are doing great things. And we need all the other adults here to support us and to lift us to make sure that our work is successful and our word spreads so that everybody can join the movement that we are in. We have Angel Osorio here, who's a part of the District Council Collaborative Boards, and I'm sure other members of that. They're a group of people who work with the police department to make sure that the criminals go and that we don't have the same problems that exist. And I'm going to end with this. I want you to imagine this. And for those of us that know Camden really well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Close your eyes for a moment. And imagine you're on Lewis Street in Whitman Park. And just walk down Lewis Street and look at all the memorials that are there. Look at all the graffiti that's there. All of the empty glass bottles that are there. That have been there for 20 years on the same street and on the same intersections. There's something wrong with having a street that's known for its violence on a repeated basis. There's something wrong with that. And we can't accept it anymore. I can accept the brown water. I can accept the bumpy roads, but I can't accept this violence. I can't accept this violence. I can't accept this violence. So thank you for being here. Let's all join together. If there's somebody here that you don't know, just introduce yourself. Let them know what you're doing. For the names of Brian Morton and Elton Custis and Angel Osorio and Shanika Boucher and the other people that are here that are doing fantastic work, get to know them and what they're doing and figure out how you can support the work that they're doing. Brother Connor, I see you over there. He's doing great work too. Felicia is doing fantastic work. Andrea Farrick is doing fantastic work over in South Camden. You have a lot of great people here. Ren volunteers a lot of her time. We have a lot of fantastic people. Get to know these people because it takes people that know how to organize and that are trained to make our community better. That's what it takes. And young people, I just want you to do me a favor, and I'm going to say something. Just repeat after me if that's okay with you. Okay? All right? So if you're still in school, just say what I say. I'm in school. I'm a student. And I'm going to do well. I'm going to do good. No. I'm going to do excellent. I'm going to do excellent. I'm going to take my education seriously. I'm going to behave in school. I won't be distracted. I won't get on social media or my phone while I'm at school. I'm going to take my education seriously. And I'm going to be a part of the solution. I'm going to be a part of the solution. I'm going to be a part of the solution. And I see in children, I see a lot of girls here. I don't know where the boys are, but when you go home, you tell the boys the same thing. You tell them girls, you have a lot of power as girls. Trust me, I remember when I was a child. You have a lot of power as girls. You have a lot of power as girls. When you go home, you tell those boys, because violence doesn't start with shooting a gun. You tell those boys when you see them that if you even think about hitting me or anybody else, I will never talk to you again, and I will tell everybody that you're a horrible person. If you tell them that, they won't be violent anymore. Thank you very much.